Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning into the video. Now, this video is going to be talking about Arturo Gatti. In 2009, so that would be 5 years ago, Arturo Gatti tragically passed away. And I want to do a video remembering Arturo Gatti because he passed away on July 11th, so I thought I'd pay respects to my favorite fighter of all time and the man who got me into watching combat sports. So let's talk about some of the achievements that Arturo Gatti had in the sport of boxing. Arturo Gatti was a guy who had a record of 40 victories and 9 losses. 31 of those victories come via KO. This was a guy who won 4 Fight of the Year honors by Ring Magazine. He also was a 2-time world champion, holding victories over guys like Tracy Patterson, Gabriel Ruiz, Jesse James Leija, and also his epic comeback victory over Wilson Rodriguez, where he was down in the second round of that fight and ends up knocking out Rodriguez in the 6th round with a left hook. Absolute vintage Arturo Gatti, never giving up, showing that heart, why everybody admired him so much. And the biggest achievement in Arturo Gatti's career was ultimately his induction into the Boxing Hall of Fame, which I will talk about towards the end of the video. Now, I really wanted to talk about some of my favorite rounds in the Micky Ward and Arturo Gatti trilogy. So, my favorite round, I'd have to say, and my favorite fight of all time would be Arturo Gatti versus Micky Ward 1. And my favorite round would be round 9. So if you haven't seen round 9, absolute classic round. Arturo Gatti gets dropped to the body. It looks like he's finished. But as we all know, Arturo Gatti didn't get the name of the Blood and Guts Warrior from giving up in fights. And he somehow gets up from that body shot and continues on fighting Micky Ward, who is an all-out brawler and a warrior. And he survives that round, and in my opinion, that round goes down as one of the best rounds in boxing history. Arturo Gatti even had some moments in that round after being brutally hurt. And in my opinion, that's my favorite fight of all time, and this is my favorite trilogy of all time. Now, the next round I want to speak to you guys about is from Arturo Gatti's second fight with Micky Ward. Now, in that fight, Arturo Gatti ended up beating Micky Ward, and my favorite round was in the 3rd round when Arturo Gatti actually dropped Micky Ward, and Micky Ward went face first into the turnbuckle. And you see later in that round, Micky Ward said he was actually out on his feet, and Arturo Gatti hits him with a big right hand, I believe it was, and Micky Ward said it woke him up. And just another incredible fight between these two gentlemen. And the 3rd fight, my favorite round in that fight would have to be the 7th round. Arturo Gatti was hurt in the 6th round of that fight, and the 7th round, he just comes out and they have a classic round, exchanges galore. I mean, you can't make up this stuff. You can't even do this in fight night. I mean, your guys would tire in fight night and you lose stamina, you'd be fighting like 80-year-old men. It's crazy how these guys had such classic wars together. And really, I mean, that's what ultimately got Arturo Gatti into the Boxing Hall of Fame. And that's why he is my favorite fighter of all time. I remember watching him, and I remember watching, I'm not going to lie, Arturo Gatti was getting his ass kicked. But he would never quit, and he took on the toughest opponents, and he always came out to entertain the fans. And that's why I admired him so much. He had a great chin. One of the toughest fighters in the history of the sport. Will go down as one of the biggest warriors. And a lot of people remember Arturo Gatti under tragic circumstances, and I cannot blame them for that. He died due to suicide. I have a hard time believing that. It's just my opinion. I don't believe everything that the media puts out there. So I just, I've done some research on it. That's just my opinion. Ultimately, though, I'm going to remember Arturo Gatti for being one of the biggest warriors of all time and putting on the best trilogy, in my opinion, in boxing history. And I also believe that Micky Ward should be involved in the Hall of Fame as well, because it takes 2 to tango. And without this trilogy, Arturo Gatti definitely would never have gotten the Hall of Fame. So I just want to say rest in peace to Arturo Gatti. Thank you for all the memories. As somebody growing up in Canada, not far from Montreal, his hometown, I know that He was a big Canadian hero, and he will never be forgotten in the sport of boxing. Him and Micky Ward have left us tons of memories throughout both of their careers. And ultimately, I hope to see Micky Ward one day join Arturo Gatti in the Boxing Hall of Fame. And I also wanted to let you guys know that HBO has an excellent documentary about the fights of Arturo Gatti and Micky Ward. This is must watch. It goes in depth. It has Buddy McGirt, Kathy Duva, Pat Lynch, bunch of people. Micky Ward's in it as well. Mark Wahlberg narrates it. An excellent documentary, and I highly recommend it. And I want to thank you very much, guys, for tuning into the video. And please leave some comments underneath your favorite Arturo Gatti memories. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it once again.